If there's one basketball analyst that I really look forward to hearing stuff from, well, you might be surprised with this, but I actually love hearing the takes coming from Big Perk. As a diehard Dubs fan, this man has to be protected at all costs, cause his words are the only thing that stands between the Warriors from winning a championship. I mean, right after the Dubs won their third championship back in 2019, the ESPN crew discussed how many more championships the Warriors would win in the next 4 years. Now, when it was Big Perk's time to speak on the mic, the man spoke like Nostradamus with his fearless prediction and said,
I hate to say this right now, but to be honest with you, I don't see State Warriors bringing home another championship.
Y'all gonna sit on First Take. You and Dominique Foxworth are going to sit on First Take.
The moment Big Perk spoke those magic words, the Warriors lit a fire under their belly, and came June 2022. Here's what happened.
Steph Curry gets open, wide open. The side out of bounds, Al Horford fly by. Sigh of relief in the building, realizing.
Yes, baby! What are they gonna say now?
After Perkins trashed the Dubs on live TV, the Warriors won their fourth championship in the last 8 years. And in the post-game interview, Steph didn't forget to give a shout out to Big Perk for his words of encouragement and had this to say.
Clearly remember some experts and talking heads putting up the big zero of how many championships we would have going forward because of everything that we went through. So
now, fast forward to this season. Perkins is at it again with the Warriors, and back 3 weeks ago, he did his magic yet again when he dropped these bombs.
So the question is, how can the Warriors save their season? Well, they can. They can't. I mean, Jesus, Joseph, and Mary can't help them save their season. So when I look at the Golden State Warriors, are they moving in the right direction? Yes. In the championship direction? No.
Anyway, so right after he fired those unfiltered takes, the Dubs all of a sudden went on a rampage, winning 13 games in their next 17, including a mini 5-game winning streak squeezed in between during that stretch. As you saw in the previous clips, every time Kendrick Perkins says a bunch of horse crap about the Golden State Warriors, they would suddenly transform into a final boss in a video game that nobody wants to face. Kidding aside though, the Warriors are riding on the momentum of the Kendrick Perkins effect, and the most awesome thing about it is that the positive effect has been spilled across the locker room to the point that the guys who were missing in action all season long have found their second wind by playing like their old selves. I mean, coming off a 12-point outing against the Clippers, Steve Kerr immediately sent Klay to detention by putting him on the bench in the following game against the Jazz. The last time this happened was way back in Klay's rookie year, and since he got demoted, everyone else thought that Klay was done and will just put up old man numbers moving forward while spending a hefty amount of time on the bench cheering. Well, how did he respond? By turning back the hands of time and delivering a Klay Thompson masterclass for the ages. So after people have been saying that Klay is done all season long, Klay dropped 35 points on 28 minutes of play while shooting 13 of 22 from the field to have his best game of the season thus far. And aside from him, Andrew Wiggins also rose back from the dead, chipping in 19 points while logging plus 31 throughout the game. And lastly, Draymond Green was shooting like Steph, hitting 9 of 14 from the field, 3 of 5 from 3 to end up with 23 points that evening. Now, in the following game against the Lakers, Wiggins once again showed up with 20 points. But the biggest revelation in this game was Tracy Jackson Jr., who stirred up 17 points and 5 rebounds coming off the bench. Even without their king, his humble servants, the refs, tried to screw the Warriors for the nth time at the foul line. However, it didn't matter in the end because thanks to a strong first half, plus the 32 points cooked up by the chef, the Warriors were able to tuck the Lakers to bed, nice and tight, 128 to 110. They kept their winning momentum in the next game against the Hornets, but this time around though, they didn't need much firepower on this one, as they got the job done on the other end. I mean, in the first 24 minutes of basketball, the Dubs put the clamps on and locked up the Hornets to just 29 points at the end of the first half. And by the end of the game, the Dubs held them to just 84 points in total. Well, speaking about the end of that game,
doesn't bode well if you're doing that in that game. So the Warriors 10 and 2. That's going to be. Watch out, Miles Bridges.
So what happened was Quinones made a crack at the basket despite the game being already in the books. Grant Williams was clearly unhappy about him violating the unwritten rule, and so he did something about it by instigating an end-game scuffle. Now, engaging in stuff like this is basically Draymond's field of expertise, but now that he's a changed man, he channeled his combative mood in other ways and called out Williams from the podium instead.
But Grant Williams got to stop it, man. He can't keep being like this tough guy is going absolutely wrong for him. I don't know, man. He need to figure it out. Because, boy, I mean, talking too much kind of got you out of Dallas.
Anyway, after that cakewalk win against the Hornets, they stumbled upon the defending champs and fell 119 to 103. Because let's face it, at this point in time, even if you throw the kitchen sink on them, there's no human being who can stop Nikola Jokic. And against the Dubs, the Joker once again put up a triple-double clinic like it was no big deal. So after dropping their third game in the last 10, the Dubs quickly turned things around by having a string of big-time victories against the Wizards, Knicks, and Raptors led by the Splash Bros. But after winning 3 straight, the Dubs were hit by a huge haymaker. So huge that I had to grab a calculator to compute how big the deficit was, and after doing the math, it turns out that the Warriors lost by a whopping 52 points at the hands of the Boston Celtics. Now, the Dubs' shocking loss to the Celtics, as well as to the Nuggets, made headlines around the association. And just like that, the narrative about the Dubs' huge midseason turnaround and incredible surge as of late has been swept under the rug just because of the result of those 2 games. I mean, don't get me wrong here, guys. I give credit where credit is due. The Celtics just laid out a beating of a lifetime to the Dubs, plain and simple. And there's no question that Nikola Jokic is the baddest dude on the planet right now. But see, is this enough to completely write off the Warriors from the championship script? Well, newsflash, folks. My big answer to that is,
Oh, hell no!
see, allow me to take you back in the 2021 season to show you guys what I'm talking about. Out of the 4 matchups between the Dubs and Nuggets that season, Jokic and his crew actually took away 3 wins from Steph and his boys. And entering as the 3rd seed in the playoffs, everyone was like, the Dubs are screwed. They won't even get past the first round. Well, coincidentally, the Dubs faced off with Jokic and the Nuggets in the first round. And as it turned out, the Warriors completely destroyed the Nuggets with a gentleman's sweep in that series. And in games 1 and 2, the Dubs embarrassed them by having a winning margin of 36 points combined. Now, as far as the Celtics were concerned, the same thing also happened around the same time in the 2021-2022 season, when the Celtics floored the Dubs to a 22-point drubbing right before the playoffs. But as we all know, a 360 turn happened during their next encounter, and in the finals, the Warriors had their revenge and won the title at the expense of the Celtics in convincing fashion. See, even if you beat the Warriors by 32, 42, or even 52 points in the regular season, there's no guarantee that you won't be seeing them down the line. I mean, a regular season game is completely different from a playoff game. And the Dubs' experience will surely play out if you're gonna have a battle with them in a 7-game series. So, you see, there's no reason that you should be counting out the Dubs just yet. Well guys, do you agree with me on this one? Let me know your thoughts on this by punching your comments below. And until then, stay safe and see you in the next video.